So let's go through real quick. I want to rip through them. 7 things I think that may hold your business or my business back from outrageous success. First one is this: negative expectations. And this kind of goes along with the law of attraction. When I first started selling on Amazon, what I did first, prior to when I kind of jumped off the cliff and said I'm going to do it, I definitely researched and I looked around and then I jumped off the cliff. And one of the first things that I started doing, I started to meet and talk to other veteran sellers, because I wanted to see again, like if this thing was as good as what I thought it was. And so I started talking to people like Curtis Backdorf. If you've known me, if you've listened to me, you've probably heard me mention his name a lot of times. Curtis used to be a big eBay guy. He was working from home for a long time, had a great business selling on eBay. He transitioned to Amazon. And so I started talking to him and he began to teach me, and I began to see like, holy cow, I can work from home, right? And have like a legitimate business. And so Curtis was one guy I met. Another guy I met was David Hawkins. If you know David and Ivy Hawkins, David was an accountant for a good accounting firm living in Hawaii. And so he had a great job, right? Living in probably one of the most beautiful places in the world. And he left it to sell on Amazon. So here he was, right, an accounting degree, he's working his way up a firm. And then he fell in love with selling on Amazon. And if you know him and Ivy, they sell between $1.5 and $2 million a year now, primarily all retail arbitrage. They drive all around. And so when I got to know him, I began to see, holy cow, like this thing is real. Another guy I talked to, his name is Randy Reynolds. If you know Randy, or if you know me again, you've probably heard me talk about Randy. He was in the business world for a number of years. He was a professor in higher education, and he left that all again to sell on Amazon full time. And so I had a little show. I was interviewing these Amazon sellers, and I began to see, oh my goodness, you know what? All I need to do is put right effort into this business. And just like these guys, I can make a legitimate business working from my home, which for me, right, is a huge piece, because like a lot of people say, for me, this is a lifestyle business. I want the freedom, right, to be able to work from my home. I homeschool my 2 kids. So for the next 5 years, that's a huge piece of whatever I want to do career-wise or professionally. I need to be able to do it from home. And so seeing these guys, my expectations then immediately were set, that I knew that if they could do it and if they saw the opportunity and were already doing it, that I could do it as well. And so, that's a big piece. You need to really have those expectations, set them high. And again, put feelers out, see what other people are doing, that, like this thing is for real. So that's the first one. The second one is this: trust the process. So in my course, I have a very specific process I go through in finding private label products and then launching private label products. And I'll be honest, it's still a little scary, because when you bring something to the Amazon catalog, you really never know, totally if it's going to sell. But now I have a process, and I'm learning more and more to trust that process. And so whatever business model you've chosen, right, to begin with on Amazon, if you are beginning to experience success with it, learn what that process is and then begin to trust it, right? So that's the second one. The third one is this, that I think it's a barrier that will often hold people back from outrageous success, is capital and cash flow. And again, I know people have different philosophies on this. And so if your philosophy is that you never want to go in debt, that's cool. If you don't have the capital, then you need to bootstrap, right? And you need to use, if you have more time and less capital, then use that time to do better research, to make better buys that are going to lead to better profit margins. And so, don't let the cash flow or capital thing hinder you. But if you're okay then with taking on business debt, get creative. One of the things I did when I first started, my brother saw what I was doing right on Amazon. He believed in it. And so he said right away, hey, Andy, whenever you need money, just let me know and I will loan you money. Now, he was telling me just out of the goodness of his heart, like I didn't need to pay him back. I wasn't going to do that. And so, I came to a point where I had an opportunity for a good buy. And so I said, hey, look, can you loan me 5,000? And in 2 or 3 months, I'll pay you back like 5,300. So basically it was like a short-term loan. The interest he was getting on that was better than anything that he's going to get in the bank. So he's like, sure. And so that's how I did it. I actually did that 2 times with him. And so that actually helped me then when you have that infusion of cash, right, to purchase product, that's huge. And so, if you don't have that kind of availability credit cards, then think about who you have, brothers, relatives, or friends, again, who trust you, you trust them. They might be able to infuse some cash. And especially when you get those opportunities where the good buys come along. It is an inventory-based business, and you definitely need capital, right, to make this thing work. In order to buy the product, you got to be able to have the capital. Here's the fourth thing that I see in my business and in others. It's kind of a lack of vision. People get stuck. And this is where I see people plateau a lot. So they're sourcing, and I see it in the Facebook groups. They say things like, man, I've been looking. I haven't been able to find any product. And so they get kind of in a rut, and they don't break out of that rut. And so here's some quick suggestions that if you're in a rut or if you've plateaued, what I would suggest to do is you need to look at bundling. And again, if you've heard me before, you'll know that I'm always preaching, think about bundling. Look at multi-packing, right? Here's a great idea. You find a product that's selling really well, and maybe it's just one of the items. Make a multi-pack out of that product. Again, that Amazon customers are putting that product in the search bar. And so all you got to do is create a unique multi-pack, and your listing is going to be listed then right next to that one that's already selling. And if it's a name brand item, that's a great strategy. But again, you have to have that vision. You got to be able to, see that item that's selling well, then figure out if you're going to do a bundle with it or figure out that you're going to do a multi-pack with it. So that's the fourth one. Here's the fifth one. The lack of focus or the shiny object syndrome. Again, I've seen this in a few sellers, right, in the different groups. They'll start retail arb, and it'll be like, oh, this is where it's at. And then 2 months later, they'll go to online arbitrage, and they'll be like, oh, this is where it's at. And then they'll go to merch by Amazon, and they'll say, man, this is where it's at. And then they'll move somewhere else instead of just drilling down, right, where they start and really figuring that system or that business model out. And so that's the fifth one, is the lack of focus. Sixth one is this: ignoring the Amazon marketplace. Again, if you've listened to me before, you'll know that I often preach that you need to be like in the Amazon catalog on a regular basis, not looking at it as a seller, right? But just looking at what Amazon is doing. And so go to that homepage, look at that top sellers list, comb through the categories, comb through the different things that Amazon is putting on there. And if you do that, generally, you're going to come away with some good knowledge that is going to help you as you source. You and I need to be experts in the Amazon catalog and not just looking at it from a seller's perspective, right? And so that's something that you and I need to do that oftentimes I think people forget, and we just become sellers. So that's the sixth one. And the seventh one is this, and this is what I'm in the show on because I'm already going over, is the silo mentality. As sellers, right, from home-based businesses, we can often get in our silos and don't reach out or connect with other sellers. Now, thankfully, the Facebook groups have been a great tool and a great resource that you and I can use to be able to connect with other sellers to kind of share best practices. But I say that you'll get tremendous more value when you connect with people face to face. And so again, whether that's going to a conference, whether that's going to a meetup in your area, or hosting a meetup in your area. So, if there's no meetups in your area, go out on a limb and host a meetup. But I guarantee you the synergy and what you get back, right, from the relationships that you build with other sellers face to face will far surpass any amount of work that it goes into. And I'll be honest, I'm an introvert. I don't like going to crowds. My wife is a total extrovert. And so we go to a place and she'll be like a butterfly and she'll talk to everybody and get like 100 names, right, from people. Not me. When I go to a place, I like to like zone in on one person and then just talk to them because I'm just not, I'm not wired that way. But I understand now the benefit, right, of going out. So I'll show you an example real quick. So I just had to order some product, right, from Uline. I don't know if any of you use Uline. It's a pretty cool magazine. I have no idea how much they spend on these glossy magazines. This is not an affiliate, right? I don't get any money for promoting Uline, but they're a dang good company. Next day shipping usually. But I had to make an order, so I just posted in the group, are there any free shipping codes? There was another seller who's a big seller who actually gets free shipping with Amazon. So, and this is a seller that I met just at the Denver conference that I went to in Colorado. And he said, hey, Andy, let me see the items that you're interested in. So I sent him the items, and he said, oh, hey, I can order those for you, get those shipped to you, no problem. He saved me $150, right? That's 150. I was about to hit the buy button before I made that post in the Facebook group. Made the post. He messaged me. He saved me $150. And I can tell you why. It's because I met him at the Denver conference and we talked, right, at length, face to face. Had I just put that post in Facebook, he would have never messaged me, right? Because there's a million people that are posting in Facebook. Yeah, Chris says $150 is in my pocket. That's right, instead of Uline. But he went out of his way because he had to call his rep, so he probably spent like 15 minutes on it. I appreciated it. I was going to listen to this. This is the kind of guy he was. I sent $50 more to his PayPal account. He sends me back the $50 and he says, look, no problem. It was easy for me. And so he saved me $150. But I was able to do that because I made that face-to-face connection with him. So that's the last thing. If you're in a silo mentality, and again, I know Facebook, it gives all of us an ability to kind of reach out and connect with people, that it's real. But when you get that face-to-face, it's even better. So if you're not doing that, I highly encourage you to do that. All right, so those are the 7 things real quick, and I went over. I'm sorry about that. 7 things that I think often will hold your business back or my business back. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate the time that I spend with you on Wednesdays. If you're not in the Slamans Bros Facebook group, I definitely encourage you to go in there and check that out. That's where I spend a lot of the time nowadays when I'm on Facebook. So keep crushing it. Keep sending that product in. Keep sourcing, buying, listing, packing, shipping, because that's how you and I both make money and are able to run a business from our house. All right. Thanks a lot, you guys. Take care.